One day a phone call arrived to the rector's office of the seminary that I was at in Rome. The rector is the priest in charge of the whole seminary. And on the other end of the line was one of the missionaries of charity who had an apostolate in Rome. A missionary of charity, one of Mother Teresa's sisters. And this sister worked at the men's AIDS hospice. The missionaries of charity have 5 homes in Rome, and the most difficult assignment of all of them is this men's AIDS hospice. And she calls and she says, "Father, I have a special request to make of you. There's a man here who probably only has a few days, maybe at the most a couple of weeks left to live, and he is requesting the sacraments. He's never even been baptized before. At your earliest convenience, can you please come?" And the priest says, "Of course, I'll be there as soon as possible." He heads over there a little later that day, and when he arrives, he's greeted by the same sister, the superior of the house. And she's walking the man to this individual. She's walking the priest to this individual's room. And on the way, she says something that the priest does not expect. She said, "Father, I have to warn you before you go into this man's room. He is the cruelest, most difficult resident we've ever had in this house. Numerous times we wanted to throw him out, but we gave him chance after chance after chance. I have to tell you that because he may be violent when you go into his room. I don't know what you'll find." The priest goes into the man's room and he sits down on a chair next to his bed. The man's laying flat in his bed. And whenever a priest, when you go to an adult who is requesting the sacraments, you always have to make sure that there's some degree of faith there. They can't be requesting the sacraments simply out of being forced to do it or out of some sort of superstition. So the priest sits down and he says, "Excuse me, sir, can I ask you, why do you want to become a Christian?" All of a sudden, the man's eyes began to water and tears streamed down his cheek. He says, "Father, in my entire life, I'd never experienced love until I came to this house." He said, "And to tell you the truth, I despised these sisters because of it. I've been living on and off the street since I was 13 years old." He said, "When I came here, these sisters taught me what they taught me and treated me the way they treated me. I hated them for it. I wanted them to reject me. I wanted them to shun me like everyone else has in my entire life." He said, "So you know what I would do when they would come into my room? I would curse at them. I would kick them. I would hit them. There were times that I even tried to bite them." And he says, "You know how they repaid me? These sisters, every single day, they'd come into my room with smiles on their faces. They would gently tend my wounds. They would bathe me. Not a single time did they ever even raise their voice at me." He said, "Father, why do I want to become a Christian? Because if this is the way that Christians are, if this is what happens when you accept Christ into your life, I want to be a Christian too." That man died a few days later after having received the sacraments. Our Lord says in the gospel today, to the faithful of His time, "They will seize you and persecute you. They will hand you over to synagogues and to prisons. They will have you led before kings and governors in my name." My brothers and sisters, why? Why would our Lord allow this to the faithful? It's the same reason that He allows every single thing that He allows in our own lives. He goes on to say that you might give testimony, that you might give witness to your faith in me so that other hearts might be touched, so that souls might be converted. I had one of my spiritual directors one time, he said to me something that I think of often and that I pray about regularly. He said, "Jeremy, you should beg God for souls. You should say to Him often, 'Lord, give me more souls to lead to heaven, to bring to you.'" And I was thinking about that and reading this reading. Imagine if every single member of our parish prayed that. "Lord, let me bring you souls." Think of the transformation that would take place in this parish, in this diocese. And what is the greatest way that we can give testimony? It's with our lives. It's the way we live our faith in the world. And I wanted to mention 3 things that are most important. First and foremost are the sacraments, and most especially the Eucharist. I look around here and I think I see almost all of you every Sunday. if you're only here most Sundays, if you're only here some Sundays, your witness will not be what it ought to be. We have to receive our Lord every Sunday that He can radiate through us. And to make that witness all the more powerful, regular confession is most helpful, that our souls will be pure, that our Lord might shine through us. Secondly is prayer. Daily prayer. Only in that way will we have the grace to live as our Lord desires. And lastly, thirdly, and this might be a little unexpected, the full embrace of our Catholic faith. And what do I mean by that? And I end with this story. There was a woman who entered the church, became a Catholic this year. She was baptized last Easter. She had married a Catholic man. She'd been going to church with him for 15 years. They raised their kids Catholic. She's roughly 40 years old. And as she's going through RCIA after she's baptized, receives the sacraments, I went up to her and I said, "What took you so long? 15 years?" She would go to Mass with her husband every week. And she said, "Father, honestly, I have to tell you," she said, I've thought of it so many times. Year after year, I thought of entering RCIA. She said, the thing that prevented me, there were a few teachings of the church that I struggled with. I thought, how could I ever really believe that? And she said, I would go to my Catholic friends, my husband and I's Catholic friends, for an explanation. I would say, can you tell me why as Catholics do you believe that teaching? How do you follow that? And she'd say, well, they said to me, well, I don't believe that teaching myself. Don't worry about that. And she said, you know what I thought? Why would I want to become a member of a church whose own adherents don't even follow the church's teachings? And so she said, finally this year I had to find out for myself, and I thought, I'm not going to rely on anybody's personal testimony. I'm not going to go to my friends anymore. I want to go to RCIA and find out the truth on my own. And she said, I can't believe all those teachings I struggled with, when they were properly explained to me, I saw the beauty of them. And now I'm living by them, and I can't tell you the joy that it's brought into my life. My brothers and sisters, may we be authentic witnesses and testimonials of our faith.